Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be talking about healing your inner child,
Oh, yeah.
which I know is something that a lot of you are interested in.
Definitely.
So we're going to be looking at the book, The Journey of Self-Love.
Okay.
It's titled, How Healing Your Inner Child Transforms Your Life. And it's by WaXhira, who is the leader of the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood.
Interesting.
So this idea of the inner child has become really popular lately.
It has.
And I think for good reason. It's not just some,
Oh,
trendy thing. It's actually a really
Sure.
important psychological idea.
it is. And it's been around for quite a while, actually.
Mhm.
In different forms, in therapeutic approaches.
That's right. But I think a lot of people are kind of drawn to this idea,
Yeah.
but they don't really know what it means. So that's what we're going to try to do today, is go beyond just the surface and really figure out
Yeah.
what is the inner child? What does self-love have to do with it? And how can this actually help our life?
It's so important to look at it
Yeah.
with psychological principles in mind. And I think it helps us understand how these early childhood experiences, especially with our caregivers, really affect us as adults.
Oh, absolutely.
Like our beliefs and our behaviors.
Yeah.
Even our relationships.
Totally.
How
So
do-
let's just start with the basics. What is the inner child?
So basically, the inner child is the part of us that holds all those emotions and experiences, and even the unmet needs that we had from when we were kids.
Okay.
So it's like
Yeah.
this younger version of ourselves that's carrying around all this baggage.
Yeah, I love the image of like the backpack full of
Yeah.
emotional baggage.
It's a good visual.
Yeah. And I've noticed like in my own life, I tend to be really sensitive to criticism.
Okay.
Even when it's like well-intentioned. Do you think that could be my inner child?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's possible because the inner child doesn't really have that logic the same way that our adult self does.
Yeah.
When those old wounds are kind of poked at,
Yeah.
we might overreact a little bit.
That makes sense. So how does this show up for people? Like what are some signs that
Yeah.
maybe they have some unresolved stuff?
Well, I mean, it could look like all kinds of things. Self-sabotage,
Oh, yeah.
having trouble setting boundaries, being scared of intimacy, even feeling like you're not worthy.
Yeah, it seems like these wounds can really get in the way
Oh, absolutely.
of living a good life.
They can really hold us back. And, WaXhira and the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood, they say that. Self-love is the key
To healing.
to healing.
Okay. I think we need to break that down a little bit. Because when people hear self-love,
Yeah.
they think bubble baths
Right.
and face masks.
And that's a part of it. But
it's more than that, right?
it's way deeper than that
Yeah.
when we're talking about inner child work.
Oh.
It's about truly accepting ourselves.
Yeah.
Even those parts that we don't like.
Oh, wow. So accepting those parts of ourselves that we don't think are good
Exactly.
and showing them compassion.
Showing them compassion.
So it's like saying, I'm worthy of love, no matter what.
No matter what happened, no matter what you think you did, you're worthy.
That's powerful. So how do we actually do that? Like, how do we...
Well, one thing that WaXhira talks about
Uh-huh.
is inner child dialogue.
What is that?
So basically
Yeah.
imagine that you're talking to your inner child.
Okay.
So you're listening to their fears, validating their emotions, giving them the reassurance that they need, and the love that they maybe didn't get.
Wow. So it's like giving our younger selves
Wow.
what they needed back then.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really powerful. I'm curious, like, what's the benefit of doing this? Like, how does healing my inner child actually make my life better?
So when we heal that inner child, it's like this ripple effect.
Okay.
It touches every single part of our lives.
Yeah.
And WaXhira, she talks about these three main areas: relationships,
Okay.
confidence,
Yeah.
and emotional freedom.
Okay, let's break those down. Starting with relationships, how does this affect how we relate to others?
So often,
Yeah.
we end up projecting our own insecurities and those needs that we didn't get met
Mm-hmm.
onto other people.
Oh, so it's like we're trying to get those needs met.
Exactly. But in unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
Because we're still hurt. But when we heal those wounds
Mm.
and we learn to love ourselves, we don't need others to fill those gaps.
Oh, that's so interesting. So we come into relationships like whole instead of needing something.
Yes.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What about confidence?
So, that inner child, they tend to hold on to these negative beliefs about ourselves.
That we had when we were kids.
That we had when we were kids. Like, I'm not good enough.
Well, yeah.
I'm not lovable. Nobody wants me.
Right, all that stuff. And those beliefs are so powerful.
They are, and they really can affect us.
It's like they're running in the background
Totally.
of our minds.
Yeah.
We don't even realize it.
They become these patterns that just sabotage us.
Right.
But by healing those wounds, we can start to challenge those beliefs.
Oh, well.
We start to see our real worth.
So it's like we're giving ourselves permission
to
shine.
be our best selves.
Exactly.
Okay. And then what was the last one?
Emotional freedom.
Oh, right. Emotional freedom. What does that look like? So when our inner child is hurting, we tend to overreact to things.
Okay.
We get triggered easily.
Oh,
And those emotions, they just take over.
yeah, it's like those old wounds are hijacking our responses. But healing helps us
Healing helps us
create some space.
breathe some space
Create.
between the trigger
Yeah,
and our reaction.
exactly.
So we're not as reactive.
I
We can actually choose how we respond.
Yes.
That's amazing. So throughout our conversation, you mentioned WaXhira and the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood. Can you tell us a little bit more about who they are?
Sure. So this book that we're looking at, The Journey of Self-Love, is written by WaXhira, who is the founder and grandmaster of the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood.
Oh, wow. And they have a really spiritual approach to healing.
They do. They focus a lot on reconnecting with our own inner divine love.
I love that. And there's this great quote from the book that I wanted to share.
Okay.
WaXhira says, "True healing is not external. It is the inner journey of reclaiming the love and light that have always been yours." Wow, that's beautiful. And it really emphasizes that we all have the power to heal ourselves.
It's within us.
It's within us.
Exactly. And for people who want to learn more about the Sacred Atlantean Brotherhood, they can actually find them on Facebook.
Oh, great. There's a link.
Yeah, so if you're interested, definitely check them out.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot today about healing your inner child.
Yeah.
And it's really about understanding how those early experiences affect us and then making a choice to heal.
Yeah, to choose to heal.
So that we can be the best versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
This has been such a great conversation, and I'm so grateful for your insights. But before we go, I want to ask our listeners a question.
Okay.
As you're reflecting on everything we've talked about, what's one small act of kindness that you can offer your inner child today? Maybe it's thinking about a happy memory from your childhood, or writing a letter of forgiveness to your younger self, or just acknowledging their presence with love and compassion.
It's so important to remember that healing is a journey. It's not a destination. So be patient with yourself. Celebrate each step and trust that you have the strength to heal.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it valuable. And until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining your light. It's funny, as we've been talking about healing our inner child, I keep thinking about mindset, which is something we've discussed a lot on this show. And it seems like they're really connected.
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
those beliefs that we form as kids, they make up our mindset as adults.
Right. It's like those early experiences, I kind of create a blueprint.
Yeah, like a foundation for how we see the world.
Yeah. And if those experiences were negative, like if we were criticized a lot or neglected or even traumatized, that blueprint might be filled with limiting beliefs.
Exactly. And those beliefs can show up in so many different areas of our lives.
Like what?
Like our self-esteem, our relationships, even our success.
That's like our inner child is always there whispering these negative thoughts.
In the back of our minds, affecting how we see ourselves.
And we don't even realize it.
Most of the time, no. It's subconscious.
Wow. So inner child work is a way to change our mindset.
It is. It's like rewriting that blueprint.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of those negative beliefs, we start to believe in ourselves. We love ourselves.
So we're moving from like a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Exactly. We start to see all the possibilities.
I love that. And it all starts with that inner child.
It does. It's about recognizing that hurt and giving them the love that they need.
You know what else I was thinking about? Attachment theory.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
And how that relates to inner child work.
Yeah.
Because attachment theory is all about those early relationships.
It is. Those early bonds that we form as children.
And how they affect us as adults.
Exactly.
I remember learning about this in college, and it was a huge aha moment for me.
What did you realize?
I realized that my own attachment style was affecting my relationships.
Oh, interesting.
Like I had trouble setting boundaries,
Right.
and it all went back to how I bonded with my parents.
That makes sense.
So it seems like inner child work can help us heal those attachment wounds.
It can. It's about
Yeah.
creating that secure attachment
Yeah.
with ourselves.
And that allows us to have healthier relationships with others.
Absolutely.
We've talked about so much today,
We have a lot to think about.
but I feel like we've just scratched the surface.
I know there's so much more we could delve into.
But you've given us a lot to consider, and I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And I just want to remind everyone that this journey of self-discovery and healing, it's ongoing.
It is. It's a lifelong journey.
So be kind to yourself, celebrate the small victories, and just keep going.
You got this.
Thank you so much for joining us today on this deep dive into healing your inner child. We hope you learned something new and that you feel inspired to continue this journey of self-love and transformation. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep shining your light.